Welcome to Perfect 12, the podcast where we talk about relationship issues that most people don't want to talk about. I'm Simona Fusco, founder of Perfect 12, and I have here with me my co-host, Mark, who will give us the male perspective on today's relationship issues.
All right, well, what are today's issues? I think our topic for today is the age difference between men and women. This ought to be a fun one.
I know, I love that issue. Well, I don't really know if it's an issue. I think it's
a lot of people think it is.
I think it is an issue when people go in it with the wrong expectations. I think that it depends on how large the age gap is as well, right? Whether it's 10, 15, 20, 30 years, which is in the case of like Cher and Madonna.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah, what's that story that's happening now between Alec and his 30-year younger wife? They're in therapy to explore their age gap difference. Now, I'm thinking to myself, why didn't this happen before they got married? Why all of a sudden is it an issue?
Well, I think the reason it's an issue now is because people always go in it without thinking about the long-term potential issues, because chemistry, Alec Baldwin is a famous figure, so she's probably also impressed by his celebrity. So I think there's a lot of superficial reasons people end up going into those type of relationships, but they don't realize in the long run, what the issues can be. And it seems like they're in therapy right now because of the age gap. And I think it's because when you have a 10-year age gap, I think that's still okay, even 15 years. But once you get to 20 years, it's just a lifestyle issue too. 30 years, you start slowing down. I mean, that's nature, right? That your body starts slowing down. And that person might be in a place of their life where, they want things to be, set in a certain way. They have like a certain schedule that they like to maintain. And the other person that's younger might be, want to travel or have a career or start a family. So I think that's when issues can start happening.
I think if there's a 30-year age gap, let's get real here. It's about his black card and his insurance, his health insurance. I think that's what it's about.
Black AmEx?
Yes. And so...
Health insurance? Why health insurance?
Because they don't have health insurance. I don't know. They don't have health insurance. They need health insurance. He's 30 years older. She's thinking, especially if he's wealthy, and for him it's also fame, look, there's a 30-year age gap here. I'm going to work with him because he's got resources that I don't have. And how much longer is he going to live before I inherit it all?
Yeah, for sure. That's one... That's probably a large aspect of it. I agree. And, in the 15 years of matchmaking, I've seen that with some of my clients.
Wait, so you were matching people up that were at a 30-year age gap?
I have. There are clients that will require that. And, I can only guide my clients as to a certain point. But in the end, they're going to do what they want to do. And I want them to experience what they want.
But you're not telling them to look,
No.
You're 30 now, he's 60, but wait till he's 70?
Well, I do say, you want to consider the age gap that could potentially be an issue. But, when you're talking with successful, high net worth or celebrity, they're not going to listen, at least in the beginning. Yeah. And then as they get into the relationship, then they come to me and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She's cheating on me with a younger guy, with a trainer, with the tennis instructor, with the pool guy or whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, I sort of saw this coming because...
So they just don't listen because they're in the moment. They're thinking 1 year out, 2 years out max. They're not thinking, okay, when I'm 70 and she's 40, there's a huge difference between 60 and 70 from everything I've researched and could tell.
Well, tell me what your research, because I agree with you, because I feel like, and a lot of women in my database will say, I don't want to date a guy after 60 because it's a huge change that starts happening, a huge shift that starts happening physically, mentally.
Yeah, I would say unless they're in uber shape in their early 60s.
Yeah.
It'll carry on till 70 and beyond. I've met some guys in their 80s, and I'm like, oh my God, he's in amazing shape. In the 80s, but that's because they've been training since they were 10. Those are very, very rare. So for the most part, I'd say any guy in their 60s that's not in great shape, and you're a woman in your 30s, I would not be dating this guy. I don't care how much money he has. Find somebody in their 40s or 50s that has money. If that's what you're into, if that's what you want, a security, find somebody in their 40s and 50s that have it, because you'll have more time with this individual. But there's some women that are looking at long-term thinking, yeah, well, he's not going to live much longer. Then I'll be able to inherit all that. I know that the view there, and I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, the view there is, what woman in the right mind thinks that way? But you tell us, do some of them think that way?
Well, I think that for women in general, and that's just in our DNA, because women are nesters, we bear children,
Yeah.
we are nurturing. So it's important for us to have stability and security. That's just, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much of a power woman, independent woman you are. At the core of it all, we want the stability and security. And we can certainly...
But can't you get that at your same age?
Absolutely. But
so why go older?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. But,
you've dated
I
older.
see... But I have
Yeah.
dated all across the board.
Right.
And I've made my experience with what works and what doesn't work. I think dating younger, I think you guys take a long time to mature. I mean, I think it takes you at least into your 40s to get mature. There are exceptions to the rule, of course.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I mean, I have some of my clients that even in their 60s haven't matured yet. So it just...
Some people never get there.
Right.
And I think the more money they have, or if they're a trust fund baby, they've not had hardship, they haven't gone through a really bad divorce, they're never going to mature. If they've never been married and you're dating somebody in their 60s, there's red flags all over the place.
That's
right?
a talking, walking red flag,
Yes.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think women need that stability and security. And I think that's why a lot of the times women go for older men, because they think that older man will provide that. And oftentimes they do, but then they forget the issues it comes with, which is when we get back to the age gap.
Yeah, and I think men want to date younger because it makes them feel younger. There's vitality. They're showing their friends, see, I could still land somebody 20 years younger than me. I think a lot of it, and women aren't as jaded when they're younger.
Sure.
And the man can bring them around the world and showing them an experience. And as a man, I get a lot of satisfaction in that too. It's like, oh, this is your first time in Europe? Wonderful. Yes, they're not jaded. They're like, oh, I've been here, done that type of thing. They're genuinely excited to go to Europe with you and travel around. So that for a man, I think, is why they're dating a lot younger. And plus, it's a younger woman, right? It's there is an attraction, a higher level of attraction for most men.
I don't see that it's for most men. I think it just depends where the man is at with his maturity level. Because
so the more mature a man means he's less likely to like a younger woman?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
I have.
disagree.
Well, that's because you want to push the agenda that you like a lot younger women. But
No. Oh my God, she's already positioning me as no. Here's what it is.
Okay.
Usually younger women, right, are in better shape. Usually, not all the time, by any means. And those of you that are in your 50s and are in great shape, I love it. I'm sign me up for it. But usually, because women have all the advantages before 40, and then men after 40, right? It's the law of women have all the advantages. In my book, women have all the advantages before 40, and then men start to take over because we do age better. Not all men, believe me, but men tend to age a little bit better after 40.
I disagree.
Wonderful. I'm glad you disagree. Why do you disagree?
Because I've seen it with my clients.
So your clients, your over 40 women are better looking
I
than
have some of my clients, they age terribly that are men, you know? I mean, they do things to themselves.
Or drugs.
They pump themselves full with testosterone or, Botox and whatever, and actually starts looking a lot worse.
Is that just dating in LA?
It could be an LA thing. I don't see it so well. Miami, obviously, too, and
Yeah.
I think it's probably an issue in all the big cities. But no, I don't think so. I think that it just depends on the person. I think
What do you think? I mean, do you think men are aging better after 40 or women after 40? I mean, I'd ask the audience, and I bet you it comes back my way. But, what do I know?
I mean, again, if you look at examples in Hollywood, and I guess that's not the best example to use because it's a lot of time not reality.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're living in LA, in a big city, I think people tend to take better care of themselves in the big city, whether it's a man or a woman, especially, Hollywood.
The thing is, here's the thing. For women, if you're working out with weights and you're doing a lot of leg exercises, you're keeping your skin care up, you're going to look great into your 60s. But most don't. Most might take care of their face, right? But they're not taking care of the rest of them. So you could tell that they're older. Whereas men have more muscle mass, and they tend to look better as they get older. I mean, to a point. Not all men.
Again,
We're going to get a lot of flack about this, but I'm going to
both.
hold the line.
I mean, I've seen both sides. I've seen men, once they get to their 60s, they really fall apart no matter how much they've been working out. They start getting back issues, knee issues.
Yes.
The injuries happen more easily because, for example, they're playing tennis and they mess up their knees, their shoulder. And then once you have those injuries, then, it's really hard to work out, and that's when all the trouble happens. That's when you start going downhill. So I think the older you get, the more prone to injuries you are, and that's just something you can't avoid. That's nature.
Very true.
But yeah, if you just go weight training, I don't know, maybe that's the way to go for a guy.
Well,
Just go to the gym. Don't play tennis or don't do any like crazy helicopter skiing so you avoid injuries.
All the research shows that if you work out, and the earlier the better. You work out, you age 20% slower. And I'm talking about heavy weights, and not crazy heavy where you're injuring yourself. You're not going to CrossFit and messing yourself up.
Right.
But if you're just lifting hefty weights, and this is for women too.
Yeah.
Women don't.
Definitely.
I advise everybody I know, get in there and lift heavy weights because it builds muscle mass, which helps with insulin. It helps
100%.
with so many different things. And you keep your frame. I mean, I'm 75. Do I look 75?
Well, and oxytocin too, because it releases that good hormone feeling, right? That hormone
But I'm talking
oxytocin.
about shape. You keep your shape, right?
Right.
Because most people, especially women, tend to lose a lot of that off their frame just because of aging. But if you work out, you can maintain it. You can look very, very young up into your 60s and 70s.
Well, we can agree that exercise is a good thing. We should all exercise.
But very specific exercise.
Weight training.
Because look at marathon runners. Marathon runners, to me,
don't look that good.
Right.
I agree. I think even bike riders, the whole lean, but they look older.
Yeah, they do.
Like
yeah,
the
that's lost some
cardiovascular.
damage too, I think,
Yeah.
in bike riding.
Yeah.
They're out in the elements, and if they're not wearing sunscreen, like I was notorious for not wearing sunscreen up until a couple of years ago, actually.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you look
was
great for 74.
It's a lot of makeup. A lot of makeup.
I mean, he takes an hour before the show to put makeup on.
She's lying about that one.
All right,
I showed up.
I'm glad we covered the gym and working out. And
Yeah. So how do we close this up about the age gap? Should people do it?
I think that everybody should experience it because I think it's hard.
How far? I mean, how much of an age gap should they experience? And why is it only one direction?
No, it's both directions. I think
Very rare that women are dating younger guys, though. Would you agree? It happens. Cher's doing it, but she's a celebrity.
I mean, I think once women have achieved a certain stature and stability in life, they certainly look towards younger or age, equal men. But when they are still unstable financially, they tend to look to older, more stable men because they can bring the stability to their life. I mean, like I said, like Madonna or Cher, why are they looking at much younger men? Why aren't they looking at the same age or older? Well, first of all, older, they're probably dead by now. But I think that because they're stable in life and they want to have fun, and that's why they date much younger men.
I don't see that. You're in a different world. Your social circles are different than mine. If your social circles are celebrities, mine are like, wealthy Newport people.
Right, but those are my clients
but the
too.
women are not. I don't see older women dating younger guys. But you could say, hey, you're in the space, you know it. But I don't see it.
But
out in the
are
wild.
those older, like I said, like, clients of mine that are women that are older, that are financially stable,
Yeah.
they prefer to date younger men.
See, I still think most women psychologically still want to date somebody that makes more money than them, and that they're more attracted to that. They don't want to support the starving artist. In my experience, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but if the starving artist is hot and has stamina, which most men lose after a certain age because testosterone levels drop, and then they need Viagra and Cialis or a combination
But if
of
he's
each.
that hot, is he going 30 years older, or is he going younger himself? Is he trying to get a younger woman?
I think that actually a lot of younger men like to date the cougar. I think that's a turn on to them. I mean, that's
For
my
money?
experience.
For money or something
Sex,
else?
because older women are more sexually
Yes.
explorative and
Well,
experienced.
Also, they're cooler about it. They're not so uptight about it. So
Right.
yes, yeah, especially in their 30s
I mean, that's my
and 40s.
experience. But I mean, look, I see it go both ways so much. It's so hard to say one
So
way or
funny.
another.
But it is statistically it is. It's like 90% of men are
Is it?
dating
Which
younger.
statistics did you research?
I don't know.
Is it the Stanford?
It's Wikipedia,
Wikipedia. Okay.
Tinder's output that they put out
Tinder.
there.
Oh, are they in a lawsuit, class action lawsuit, matched group? Yes, they just settled a $14 million lawsuit.
For what was the lawsuit about?
Misleading about the success rate of the app.
Oh, in terms, well, how do they
And of
define
course-
success though? Because they could define it as
To end
number
up in a
of years.
relationship,
Oh.
I think. And also,
I thought Tinder was about short-term relationships.
well, but the match group, I was referring to the match group being in a class action lawsuit. So the match group owns Hinge, Tinder, eHarmony.
I didn't realize that.
eHarmony.
I didn't realize that.
Harmonious.
So they lied about how many people actually got married, or
No, I think they lie about just how many people end up meeting someone from an app and ending up in a relationship. And then, there was also something
Yeah.
about not refunding.
right? Okay.
Yeah. 14 million is nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty big.
So no, not at all. Simona, you think everyone should try the age gap thing. So even younger men should date older, and that you think they should at least try it just to test it out.
I think life is short, and I think everybody should try whatever they're comfortable trying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, there was a saying, you should slide sideways into your coughing saying, I've lived my life to the fullest. I'm not quoting it correctly, but that's how I think about life, because I don't want to lie on my deathbed or whatever and look back at my life and be like, oh gosh, I didn't try this because of what society thinks, or I didn't do that. I think you should try everything and then see what works for you.
So you say do that young or do that older?
I really think it doesn't matter how old you are. I think you should try it in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
But there's a period of time where you're married. You wouldn't be suggesting trying it then, right?
I'm not encouraging having an affair or cheating. No,
Right,
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying, is there a time period that you suggest doing this, or is it any time? After divorce, before marriage?
I think you should try it before you get married to get it out of your system, to know what you really want to settle down with, who you really want to settle down with, so you know yourself better. But then there are some people that have been married out of high school. They married a high school sweetheart.
And it lasted.
It lasts, and it doesn't last. 30 years later, they're getting a divorce because, they've never explored anything else in life. And then they are so starved that they either have an affair during the marriage or they go crazy after, their 30-year marriage. And then they just explore everything because they're like, oh my God, I missed out on so much. So I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer for anything. I think get it out of your system before. And if you haven't, get out of your system after,
Yeah, I advocate
Don't
big
do it
time,
during.
Big time. Do it before. What's the rush? For men, there should be a law that says you cannot get married before the age of 30. I really strongly believe that, because you don't know. Like you said, we mature a little less fast. And you're not sure at 30 who you want to be with for the rest of your life. And if you're not sure, don't do it. And it's easy for me to say, right? You're out there, you've got the love of your life, you think, in your early 20s, and you want to get married, but chances are you're going to grow apart. So do you have a plan for that? I know what I tell my son, but you got to have a plan for all of this, because you don't want to get involved with family court. That's a subject for another day. They will rip you up, both of you up, take all your money, and your kids will be miserable if you enter into that. So you got to be really careful, who you marry, but I would wait. There's no harm in waiting.
Yeah, I agree. But, tell that to a young...
You can't.
You can't. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Unless their parents went through it, then they see it, and they're like, okay, I get it now.
Exactly.
My takeaway is that age gaps are rarely about soulmates. They're mostly about resources and youth. And whichever side has the resources is usually looking for youth. According to you, that includes women as well. And those with the youth are looking for resources because they can't afford to pay the rent. That seems to be the takeaway for the age gap. But I personally, I see it. I don't really see age in my own situation. I think it's perfectly fine to date 20 years younger, as long as you guys get along. You have the same vision and dreams, as long as you have the energy level, Mm-hmm. The only problem would be then after that, what's 20 years from now look like?
Exactly.
When you're getting into your 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And then
that's a totally different story. And then you have kids.
Well, and then you also have to be prepared to be someone's caretaker. Is that person willing to take care of you into your old age?
Caretaker, so that's how you look at it?
Well, if there's a big age gap.
70s and 80s and take care of yourself?
If you have a partner, things are going to start. Look, this is just nature. You can't fight nature. Things are going to start breaking down, and you want to be with somebody
Hopefully not. But yes, I guess it always
sticks around.
Yeah,
don't you want somebody that sticks around and truly loves you for who you are, and they're not just going to take off?
But do you think in this day and age that's really a reality?
To stick around?
Yeah.
Mark,
your clientele is not. I don't think they're sticking around. Yeah. We don't have this. This won't make the podcast.
Yeah, it won't.
We'll save it. But so, what's your big takeaway?
I don't know. Big takeaway. My takeaway is always to try everything and get it out of your system before you get married and before you get into that serious relationship, because you don't want to regret that you didn't try something. I think that when you're in a long-term relationship and then you start looking around, and it's because you didn't explore more. So I think it's important to get all that stuff out of your system before you settle down.
Yeah.
Because then I think it has the possibility to last a lifetime. Well, there you have it. We have the female perspective and the male perspective over here. Yes, if you're looking for a relationship, come visit Perfect 12, perfect12.com.